Well, hello and welcome to Physics Games. I hope you're doing great. This week has not been a quiet one for me. I've been looking at the Auger and it sounds a little bit like this. And also the chainsaw, I managed to make it sound just like this. I've even made a block that looks like this. We're also going to talk about the mods folder. I've had a few questions for that. Nice, short and sweet, but we'll just update you on that and where to put them. The Forest Gen mod went down really well and people started to ask for different orders. We'll be talking about different progressions and how I can help you with that. Oh, and one of my old mods, that's working too, so we should get the shape menu back in the game. Any blocks you want making? And then big cities, of course. People have loved the old big city mods. They've been doing me great. The expected comments. Oh, NASA computer, frames per second. Well, let's have a little bit of a look at that as well today. And from a previous video card up above, we looked at exporting a POI from Alpha 21. Let's re-import that one too. A bit of a mixed bag today, just updates really from all the things I've been up to. Do you like this kind of video? Well, you'll find out if you stick to the end. So very briefly, let's talk about mods. There are two places where you can place your mods, but I only mention one of them in all of my videos. The reason I mentioned to put into your user data, app data, roaming 7 days to die mods folder, and you have to create this if it doesn't exist already with a capital M, is that when Alpha 20.6, I believe, came out, there was a requirement due to Windows, if you're using Windows, of course, that prefabs could no longer, or custom prefabs could no longer be saved in here. And that might end up impacting the mods folder, so therefore the mods folder was also moved here. Now the old mods folder didn't disappear, and you'll find that in version 1 with a Phys1cs Harmony mod. Basically, don't worry if you don't know what that is, but in the end it is there, and you can place mods in either of these positions. So why do I only mention the top one out of the two of them? Well, that's because, well, in my videos I'm trying to, make them work in the future. So if this mods folder doesn't work, as in they remove the ability to use that one in the future, which may or may not happen, then my videos will be correct and I won't have to change the description and tell people there's something wrong in it. So for now, do as you wish and you will. I do not mind, and I will always end up with people commenting not quite knowing what to do, but that's fine. Just make sure though, because I have had several comments with people saying the mod doesn't work, and it usually lies into how you place your mod in there and the folder structure. So let's have a look at the mods that I use making 16K maps on this video today. And if I go into my mods folder, and this could be for either of them, there's mods in both, then let's have a look at the Phys1cs one. Inside it is a folder that has a name, and inside that it has a whole bunch of files, but you'll always find the mod info.xml. The same goes to the ones that I've used today. I've been using the all map size generation and the massive cities, so I've been doing 16K maps and I've been making them huge. And if we go into there, there's a folder under the mods, one whole folder under the mods, and in there you'll see other folders, other files, but you will always see the mod info.xml. If you do that and you're all set up in either of these directories, you'll be absolutely fine. So over on Nexus Mods, let's talk about Forest Cities. This is one that we mentioned last week, where we bring cities back into the forest. It's been going well, but people wanted different chains of progression. All this mod does is it swaps Trader Rect in the forest zone with Trader Gen in the burnt biome. So they just swap round. And in order to do that, I had to add something to the mod so the progression would work correctly. So this is the one of all of the map mods that I've made that you do need to keep in your mods folder during gameplay. All the others you don't have to bother with. They're just map generation. So with this one you have to. But of course then people said, but I want this first and I want that first. So look what I've done. Progression Request mod. Now, of course, there's a lot of combinations. There's a lot of permutations for 5 different traders in a row, and there's 120 in fact. One of them comes in the game. One of them is Gen and Rect twisted round, as I've done before, but people wanted different things. So what I did is I decided to create some, and as people request, and you are welcome to do so, there is no way that I'm going to be able to do loads of them straight away. They'll be done when they're done. But if you have a special progression that's close to your heart, then you can request it. And we've got one here, which is Hugh, Rect, Bob, Joel and Jen, excuse me.
Then we've got Jen, Bob, Hugh, Joel and Rect, and finally Joel, Rect, Bob, Jen and Hugh.
So why bother with this at all? Well, you know, got to help people out. That's the whole point. We're a community. Started off with Dirty Boy, promised them I'd give him a shout out with Forest Gen, and then Cinespice, who got the ball rolling with other variations, followed by Marcus, MCC Wills, number 6, and of course, any one of you, if you choose to do so. So I've been a busy boy with all things ever so quiet. And that includes a few mods. Firstly, I've taken me old silent or quiet Auger mod. This has been done before by people, but it's always required additional files, so therefore couldn't be server-side only. And this is my XML version of the mod. This produces a silent or quiet Auger, and it's very useful. I do suffer with migraines sometimes, and it has been very annoying. Wanting to play the game, but it triggering something. And some people, of course, just due to their very own specific needs, require something a little bit quieter, and hopefully this is going to be of benefit to you. I've always been requested over and over again for the Silent Chainsaw, and I actually had a bit of trouble trying to do that in Alpha 21, but I have managed to get there in version 1, and there it is, my Silent Chainsaw mod. So I'm going to have a mess. I've still got to mess around to try and get a quieter version of it. But silence, if you just want to hear the constant bap, 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 bap as you take down a tree, well, be my guest. There it is for you there. And I've also made an invisible block that you can't see and you can walk through. Yes, completely nothing. I've made my Structural Air mod. Now, this mod here is an empty block. It's an empty block. You can't see it. You can only use it when you're building POIs, prefabs, and basically all it does is just gives strength to whatever is leaning over and would normally fall down. Players can walk through it, you can shoot through it, you can do anything you want. You can't build on the place that it's placed. It does take up a block, but it is a great little way of giving structure to different POIs that you want. It's a very simple little thing. I had to make it because I need it in this POI that I'm making, and I'm going to have a little teaser at the end of this video for that. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks I will be sharing with you something a little bit different and a lot of fun too. If we do scroll down on my mods page, then there are a few that I have marked Alpha 21 or maybe Alpha 20 because they only work with those specific games. There's a few I still need to check. All these rotation ones I've still got to do. I'll update you next week, I hope. But the important thing is these still work, and that is, a lot of you out there may not know these exist. I made my own shape menu. There are diagonal door blocks, so you can have lots and lots of doors at diagonals, which I need for an overhaul mod that I am working on. Octagon buildings, which is great fun and very useful. Arrow slits, brought those back so you can actually use them properly. Corner bars, so you can make lovely cages with proper corners with three-way bars. Look a lot better than using just the doubles and the singles. They're all available. They all still work, so I urge you to head down to the description, have a look at all of these mods, and just try them out. And I'm going to shout out a few other ideas for you here. How about, do you want any blocks made? I can make fully paintable blocks of any shapes and sizes pretty much. Is there anything that you would like in game? If you've got any ideas, well, leave it in the comments or head over to the Discord and give me a bit of a detailed idea of what you're thinking. But if there's anything truly that you think would be useful, then it is creatable and it's addable as another mod. All of these stack and you get a nice little menu there right in the little corner, and yeah, we can make blocks, we can have some fun. Give me a shout if that's what you want. So a few videos ago, I ended up exporting a horde base from Alpha 21, and I thought I would today end up pasting in here to my roaming 7 Days to Die local prefabs folder the back to basics absolute awesome horde base, and we tweaked it and we messed with it in the video, and if the files are in there, we're going to see how we then get that back into a game in version 1. Files are in there, we're in the game. I want to be able to edit something. I want to be able to add this into my list. If it's in that folder that I just showed you, then when you generate a map, it might actually pop up. It might appear in the actual game that you're generating. But if we go into editing tools and then we go into, well, we'll go into level prefab just really briefly and just have a quick look at it. Let me press escape, hit on the little house icon, and then I'm going to put B to B, oh, B to B. And there it is from user data path. There is the base. Here's what it looks like. I'm going to hit load and boom, it's come straight in. If there was any problemos, as in blocks that had disappeared between versions, there would be a little blue box with a question mark appearing somewhere on this base. And all you'd have to do is go find that, and you'd have to delete them and replace them with something else. But here it is. Look at it. We've upgraded our version of 7 days and it all works fine. So let's get that into an actual deal. I'll discard any changes it thinks I've done there. But let's click on editing tools, and this time world editor. So here's all the maps that I have currently, all the standard ones here, and then a whole bunch of them that I've been generating and messing around with, and the Phys1cs Playground, which has disappeared. I'll have to fix that in a minute because I'm going to be showing you it. Let's pick a random little map. What do we got here? Just a little map here. We're going to hit start and we're going to go into it, and we're going to add to this existing generated map, we're going to add our little horde base. So we're in, and we're automatically in God mode here. And we can see some POIs here. And if I go up, we can see a city over there. Maybe I just want to start somewhere around here. Ah, look at this. We've got a lovely little flat space here. Just what I need. So I'm looking for the southwest corner. And whatever the southwest corner is going to be the kind of bottom left of where it's going to be placed. So I know that the POI will be placed facing north as such. So if I decide where I'm going to place it right about here, I'm going to press Z and it's going to produce this little box. If you're too high up in the sky, then you won't do that. So make sure you're lowering down. And as everyone's seen, they've added the best thing ever to this version 1 of 7 Days to Die. As you make your boxes bigger and smaller, it now says exactly what the size of them are on the side of the box, which is brilliant. So we get our little box down here, which is all good, and then we're going to press K. When you get into here, then it says dynamic prefabs. There is a quicker way to get in there, I know, before someone says in the comment, but I'm showing the way to do that. And then I'm going to go B to B, find my little back to basics base from my previous series, click on this, and I'm going to press place, and there it is. Now, what has it done? That's actually different. I'm learning something now. That used to appear from where I placed the block, and from the southwest corner, it used to place everything up in this direction. But now it seems to have done it in the middle. So maybe they've changed something, or maybe I've done something wrong. Let's hold down G, and I'm going to move this base, and you can move it up and down until it's all okay. Let's place this right over tree, just so you can see what's going to happen, as in the tree will not be a problem. It's going to place there. I'm going to make sure it's all nice and flush and lovely. I can go into God mode and have a good look around, check it all out, do what I want to do. But in the end, happy as Larry, that is what we want. Now, as long as this thing is actually highlighted green, so make sure it's highlighted green, you can then press escape and you can then apply this to its position. So we're going to apply that to its position and we're going to hit save. And if you're as paranoid as me, because this is what happens, sometimes it goes all horribly wrong and it twists the thing round and it doesn't save it, I always kind of wait a little bit. I might hit save again, and then I don't know, is it some kind of deal that I've got to speak to my doctor about? I normally go F1 and then type in save world, just so I can actually see it say world saved. But that's just my habits. I think you only need to do one of them once. But there it is. It's now in the map. Now if I go into my existing game, I will not find this in there because this has been added. So I need to make a fresh game. We're going to see if we can locate that POI. If we do go into debug mode, or what's known as God mode, and we press escape, then once this comes up, and is this taking longer for you in version 1? That takes a longer than it used to. We can hit open POI teleporter, type in B to B, because that's what I've called it, back to basics as it was, and there it is. Beautiful. I do appear in the southwest corner there, but here we are. It's all in there. It all looks pretty good. I just wonder though, what's going to be the difference? Is this going to hold up in a version 1 horde? I do not know. Maybe we'll need to test it. What do you think? Should I test this in a future video and give it a go? Yeah, I think it's a nice little base. It worked really well. We'll just have to wait and see. And it's time for the beautiful, the wonderful, bing bong bing, Phys1cs Playground. It's been created for B317 version 1, and it's every single POI in order, one by one, so you can start at Abandoned House and have a look through. Of course, those in the know that I've used this many times on my channel, but I've created an alpha version 1 and it is an exclusive download on my Discord, updated as and when needed. It's a beautiful little thing, and I'm thinking of turning it into an overhaul mod where you kind of jump from one POI to another under the guise of a challenge. I don't know, what do you think? Have you got any ideas? Well, there it is. Have some fun with it and explore all those new lovely POIs. So just a quick little bit from a previous video. This was Alpha 21 versus Alpha 20. I had brought up the same map. It was a giant full city map. I mean, there's like no foresty bits or anything, just one giant city. And basically you can see the difference. It was very jerky in Alpha 20, whereas in Alpha 21, everything got a lot smoother and I could be flying about all over the place with no problem. I'm not going to do any crazy comparisons today. Just, you know, there's been a lot of chatter recently about how cities have been a problem and how if you generate a massive city, then it's going to be awful. Well, zombies and kind of some things like trash on the floor, if I just try and find some, there they are, they kind of just fade in. So there's a bit of a delay to those kind of things. They've also, what the heck have I just done? They've also kind of dealt with kind of windows. So if we find ourselves some windows, let's nip over to here, and we find a nice little window in some kind of shop, then it is all kind of greyed out until you get near it. And when you get to about 20 blocks, suddenly everything appears, which this stops things rendering in. So this kind of helps with frame rates as well. I'm sitting here on a mixture. I don't have a NASA PC or anything like that. If you want to see the specs of my PC, head over to my Twitch channel, and it's listed in the little cards underneath the main kind of video screen. But we can do some comparison tests, I suppose, with what we had in that previous video. Now I've got a different machine than I had before, so I can't do any direct comparison. But if we do have a look at the options menu, we can see that in order to be slightly comparative, I'm using kind of like a standard 1920 by 1080, which like 60% of the population on Steam use every single day. I've got the mesh distance up massively, which is, they say to bring it down, but I find that if you have it really low, then it keeps having to load in chunks, so it doesn't really make too much of a difference, in my opinion, on my system. There's also all the kind of quality stuff. I basically use Ultra, which puts things on Ultra and High, but I take off Bloom and I take off Motion Blur because only maniacs use that. So with those kind of settings, then I can just jump on through, and just like Alpha 21 and not like Alpha 20, there is no loading up of things. All these kind of little POIs, these are the fake versions of them until you get near them, and then they load up the decent version of it. As I'm walking around, well, I'm getting what, anything from 60 to 70 to 80 to 90 frames. It depends. If you stop, it usually kind of goes up a little bit, and it depends what's going around you and how many zombies there are. We can of course just get 25 zombies and we can kind of go crazy with them. Let's get some zombie yos and we'll just annoy them. Oh, I better make myself visible. There we go. They all get annoyed and very noisy, but my frames seem to be okay. But when do you often when do you often see this many? On a horde night, I suppose, but normally you're standing still for that, unless you're a total lunatic. I wish I could set this off just by punching it. I think that would be a good mod to do. Punch a car, set it off. Everything should have an alarm. It'd be great. And yeah, so I don't know. I haven't felt any major issues. I haven't seen any humongous raise in the game, but it works. And to be honest, I've played this game since Alpha 11. I've seen it change. I've spent I don't know, 11 British pounds on it in all these years. And I think that if people are going to moan the heck out of it, well, fair play. If you're paying full price, maybe you should. But, you know, I think it's an absolutely great thing. And oh no, I've had to wait for something to suddenly appear in front of me when I'm zooming around in God mode. Well, just deal with it. Just deal with it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. If you've had it for years and you're moaning, just grow up and install it. Play something else. Hey Jen, how you doing? You been over Hughes, have you? What's going on here? Oh, we'll have to wait for a future video for that. But of course, thank you everyone who has got to this point in the video. You are absolutely the best. You know what to do. Hit all the nice buttons, and then comment and reply to comments and just get the algorithm tickled in the old pickle, because you did that last time and it did my videos wonders. So thank you, everyone. That's what we needed. There are some more videos that are now popping up on screen. Hopefully they'll help continue your journey and the fun on my channel here at Phys1cs Games. I'll see you very, very soon. Goodbye!